The Sunday school lesson for January 22nd, 2023 is God Promises Light, based on Isaiah chapter 58, verses 6 through 10. To the viewers and subscribers, welcome to my channel, The Backstory. I am Audrey, and on this channel you will find out exactly what happened before each Sunday school lesson, the agenda, the backstory, the lesson text, and the summary. And remember to subscribe so that the YouTube algorithm will continue to push out my video presentations. Thank you so much in advance for your support. The backstory. Let's begin. Isaiah chapter 58 focuses on true fasting. It is clear in Isaiah 58 that many of God's people had completely lost sight of the true meaning of worship. Fasting and other acts of worship had become meaningless rituals. Meanwhile, they had questions about their daily lives, which were falling short of God's ways. And so they had questions. They raised questions, as in Isaiah chapter 58, verse 3. Why have we fasted, and you have not seen it? Why have we humbled ourselves, and you have not noticed? The answers to the two previous questions are given within the same verse 3. Yet, on the day of your fasting, you do as you please and exploit all your workers. The answers are continued in verse 4. Your fasting ends in quarreling and strife, and in striking each other with wicked fists. Verse 5 presents further questions. Is this the kind of fast I have chosen? Humbling yourselves for one day? Bowing one's head like a reed? Lying in sackcloth and ashes? Is that what you call a fast? A day acceptable to the Lord? The Sunday school lesson begins here with verse 6. True fasting. Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen? God promises light. Isaiah chapter 58, verses 6 through 10. Key text. If you spend yourselves in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness, and your night will become like the noonday. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 10. Verse 6. Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen? To loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Verse 7. Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter? When you see the naked, to clothe them and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood? Verse 8. Then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Then your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. Verses 9 through 10. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and he will say, here am I. If you do away with the yoke of oppression, with the pointing finger and malicious talk, and if you spend yourselves in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness, and your night will become like the noonday. A brief summary. Through Isaiah, God described the kind of worship that pleases him. Rather than a one-day religious show, God desired to see true worship exhibited in a life of compassionate justice toward the oppressed, the poor, the vulnerable, the hungry, and the outcasts. This God honoring justice was to be exhibited not merely in emotional sympathy, but in concrete action, providing food, shelter, clothing, and so on. It should be expressed in giving deeply of oneself in order to help those who were oppressed. What would happen if God's people lived out true worship by caring for the defenseless? Your light will break forth. They would experience intimacy with God, receive His guidance, draw confidence from His faithful presence, and find true spiritual satisfaction in Him. Thank you so much for watching, and join me soon for the next backstory. Stay safe.